All right, I'm sorry, guys. I had a stream. I don't know what happened. Everything just completely frozen. I'm sorry, it froze on my side. I don't know what that was about. Definitely a hater because I was doing so well. Anyway, I'm gonna get back into the trial. I'm so sorry, and let's go.
It's gonna. It's Mr. Burnett. That surveillance video that we saw is that. Have you seen that angle before?
Today I saw it.
Okay. In preparation for your
Right.
testifying, and in that, what car do you see in 296 Yankee between 10 minutes and 40 seconds until when we paused it at 10 minutes and 48 seconds?
It's the same car from before, it's just a different angle. It looks like we're seeing more of the back end of it.
Is this
Earlier, you had mentioned the quarterly training that you've gotten since working in Infinity. Can you describe what that entails for the jury?
So anytime there's any new models or any new features or anything that's been added to the cars, they will have to go through certification tests on them. It could be modules to where we have to do like interactive videos and answer questions at the end, or it could just be an article that we have to review and then go back and answer questions. It just depends. Usually on a brand new model, it's more interactive stuff because they want make sure that you're following along and know what's going on. You'll just skip straight to the test. But sometimes on some of the refresher stuff, like if it's just a specification change, like the engine size or new wheel package or something, it'll just be like some articles that we just read and then answer the questions based off of that.
One brief moment, Your Honor. Mr. Burnett, when the Infinity Q50 came out on the market, when was the first time that you drove it? Did you ever drive a 2014 Infinity Q50?
Yes, it was. Besides customers coming in, we also had them as loaner cars. So that was one of our main cars we used as loaner vehicles. So we were constantly pulling them up, getting customers in and out of their stuff. Yes, I've driven them a lot of times.
And what aspect of the Infinity Q50 made you choose to buy it in 2020?
The size, the performance of it. It's a pretty fast vehicle. It has a lot of power. And from my standpoint, it's also pretty reliable because again, I see what goes wrong and what from so that's what kind of drew me. Enterprise, they do bring cars to us for us to service. So, but like,
Good afternoon, sir.
hey, how are you?
I'm good. I am fabulous. Fantastic. One of the last things you said was that the rental companies, I think Hertz, you mentioned, sometimes brought their cars in to be serviced at the locations you worked at, correct?
Correct, because we were close by the airport, so we would get a lot of their cars brought in, so.
Do you have any personal interaction with any car, any queue? Opinion on, right?
No, they were like photos.
They were photos.
Yeah.
The images that you just saw, and I'm gonna ask the state's indulgence in a bit to put some of those back up again. You would agree with me though, that those photos.
We're good?
Those are black and white images, right?
What's that? The photos they brought in
Yeah,
or?
well, no, the photos that you were just looking at, the video you just looked at, still shot, and then the two videos, one of the car rolling forward from the front, the other one from the back.
Well, the photos here are color, the ones that they,
Now step up.
Yeah.
Right, so these, and I'm gonna reference for purpose of the record, 459 and 459A. These are the photographs that were presented to you from the state a little while ago, right?
correct.
Right. Now, that's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about the video that you were looking at, that the state played. Would you agree that was a black and white video?
I don't know if I would classify it as black and white. It wasn't the greatest of quality of video, but I would say it was black and white.
Okay, let's look at it again. Smiley, would you be kind enough, please, to put up what the state has marked as 292 YI, Yankee Indigo, I guess. All right. Can you see what's on the screen in front of you, Mr. Burnett?
Yes,
All right. Now, you read 292 YI, that's the image that you looked at before, correct?
yes.
You're not able to tell what the color of that vehicle is, are you?
I can tell it's a grayish color. I mean, just like the color, the car that's behind the white one appears to be like a reddish color.
Okay, so let's see, are you gonna tell me that that vehicle that you said is in Infinity is a, what did you say it was a diamond graphite color vehicle?
Could I say it from the picture? No, I mean, from this, no, I couldn't say it was diamond graphite, but I could say it's grayish in shade though.
Okay, you said that you recognize this as an Infinity because of your familiarity with Infinities, correct?
Correct.
Now, to be clear, you're not a scientific expert, right?
No,
You've never been qualified as an expert in Infinities or identification of vehicles, true?
no scientist, no.
Okay. You've never been qualified in a court of law as an expert in identification of vehicles.
Never been to court before or anything for it, but as far as an expert in knowing infinities, I probably would say, yes, I know all the models.
Okay. Tell me whether or not that vehicle that you're looking at, the one that you've identified as an Infiniti Q50, has standard size wheels or non-standard wheels on it as you described earlier.
And we're talking about the screen, not the pictures, right?
Go on the screen.
I couldn't, you can barely see the wheels from this.
All right. Looking at that image that the state showed you that's on the screen right now, tell me where you see on that there is an Infinity emblem or insignia on the front grille.
This one doesn't capture it. He tried to roll it forward to where you could see that there is something silver in it, but technically they couldn't stop it at the right time.
You said technically, but you don't see it at all, do you?
Not in this frame, no.
And in fact, when you were describing the image you said earlier, or you saw earlier, you said that you can quote almost see it. Understand that?
Correct.
All right. Looking at this vehicle on the screen, are you able to tell whether or not there's any damage to the front bumper or fender of that vehicle, as though it's been some sort of accident of some sort?
Not on the screen, no.
Are you able to see anyone, if there's anyone hanging out of the sunroof?
Not from this angle, no.
I'm curious, do you know whether or not the 2014 Infiniti Q50s have, I'm going to use OnStar. I don't know if there's another name for tracking.
It's Infinity Connect, yes,
That's a tracking system.
correct.
Right? Do you know whether all of the Infiniti Q50s had tracking software in it that would allow you to track the car and tell you where the car is at a given time?
They have the capability, but there's a subscription that has to be paid for it to be able to do it. So if the subscription isn't paid, then it's not active for us where you could track it at the time.
Okay. You testified earlier, and I'm still referencing the images up on the screen, right? You testified earlier about there being an emblem on the side of the Infiniti Q50 that's a little bit behind the front wheel, right? You remember that testimony?
Yeah, but that was off of the picture though.
Okay. All right. So put the picture aside for right now and just looking at the image that was shown to you by the state. And this is the same image that was shown to you back in 2015, right?
No, they just had pictures. They had like pictures that came back in, and there was no videos or anything then.
Okay. So APD came to see you in 2015, they didn't show you this video?
No.
Okay. So look at the video that you're seeing right now, that you've identified. Looking at that car, point out to me where that emblem on the side of the vehicle is that tells us it's an Infiniti.
You can't see it from this angle. Not on the video.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear, I understand your testimony correctly. 2015, APD comes to you and they show you some still shots of a vehicle.
Correct.
And they ask you to tell them whether or not it's an Infiniti or not.
They asked basically to identify what kind of vehicle it was.
And just so I'm clear, were the still shots that they showed you still shots from this video?
I honestly don't know where the pictures, I mean, that was 15, 16 when they came. I honestly don't know where they got the pictures from.
And they never told you, right?
No, they basically said that there may be some further questions they may ask and they'd be in contact, and that was that.
Was that the only time that they came to ask you anything about any Infinitis?
Yes, I didn't hear anything about it again until April or May. I think they reached out. I guess they still have my number on file from when initially I did the interview, and they called and asked if I remembered it. And I honestly didn't remember a whole lot of it at the time. As we talked further into it, some of it started to come back, but I didn't remember what kind of car was involved or any of that until I actually saw the video that they played for me.
When you say they called you, we talking about the DA's office? Or?
Yes.
You didn't talk to anyone from the DA's office back in 2015?
No, I would assume it was just a local police. They were in uniform, so.
Police officer?
Yes.
Mr. Burnett, I want you to pay attention to the between 840 847.
Okay.
See that car driving past?
Yep.
So that is the car that you took a look at today. Today was the first day you saw this video, right?
This one, yes.
Okay. And then your testimony is that based on that vehicle passing by in the video between 840 and 847, you can recognize that as an Infiniti Q50. As an Infiniti Q50, is that right?
Correct, yes.
And then with your grid video that even that as it went by, you didn't see any Infiniti emblem on the side of it.
No.
You didn't see an Infiniti emblem on the back of it, right?
No.
You didn't see anything that looked like damage to either the front or the fender or the
No,
You see anybody hanging out the sunroof or window, right?
no,
So the lights on the car,
yes,
and you saw that it was a car.
yes.
Thanks, sir, that's all.
Any other defense attorneys have questions for this witness? All right, is there any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Now, so the state's going to the first decal, or can you tell about the tires? Do you recall that?
Yeah, the jump, what questions?
Mr. Burnett,
Yes, sir.
so even though in the still shots and the videos that we've seen, right, you don't see the identifying items that you mentioned. You don't see a decal, right?
Not in the video, no.
You don't see the emblem on the Infinity emblem on the front.
Not in the video, no.
You can't identify whether it's standard size wheels or what kind of wheels that you referenced before, right?
Not in the video, no, sir.
So even though we can't see any of the things that you say would identify something as an Infinity, your testimony is that you know that it's an Infinity.
Well,
Q50.
Right, so this is not the same car? Like,
You tell me, is that the same car?
it looks like the same car in the video. It's a Q50.
May I?
You may.
So you're thinking that 459 and 459A, which has been given to you by the state, you believe that this is the same car that's been shown in that video?
The video is definitely a Q50, yes.
Okay, you think it's this car?
It appears, as far as the color and everything else appears to be, but
Does this,
again, these are all standard things. It's not like this is, it has custom wheels on it or if it has a custom grille. Those are all the standard things that's on the car. So every Infinity has the grille, has the logo in the grille. Every Infinity has a badging on the side. Those are the standard headlights. Those are the standard tail lights.
right?
So if it's a Q50, then it has those things. So
Every Infinity has that emblem on the grill that we can't see on the video, right?
Q50, yes.
Every Q50 has that emblem on the side that we can't see on the video, right?
Correct.
Every Infinity has maybe standard, maybe not standard wheels that we can't see on the video, right?
Correct.
But your testimony to this jury is that these pictures given to you by the state, the same vehicle that's on that video.
Correct.
All right, that's all.
All right, now you're free to go.
All right, thank you.
All right, and it's just about 5 o'clock, so I think we'll break for the day. And I'm going to remind y'all, sometimes I give you a longer reminder, that you need to decide this case based only on the evidence that's admitted inside this courtroom. So please don't use the internet or any other source, electronic or otherwise, to get any kind of information about this case or about concepts in the law. Don't read, watch, listen to any accounts of this trial that might appear online, in print, on television, on the radio, or otherwise, including social media. Don't discuss the case with anybody or allow anybody to discuss it with you or around you, including don't discuss it amongst yourselves. Leave your notepads, notes in the jury room. And remember, for y'all tomorrow, it's a non-jury day. We'll be working, but we'll see y'all back Thursday morning at 9. Thank you. Why?
So, Judge, they were all referenced, and by conditionally admit, what I was asking for permission to do, since they had all been identified by a witness as a particular thing and true and accurate reflections of them, and because they had been referenced so much during the testimony, my request was to tender or admit, rather, for as evidence 444Y, since 1AS
You
was
didn't
not.
even mention 444Y.
I didn't mention all of them that I wanted to. I
Okay.
started, but then when the court seemed
Okay.
inclined not to
Okay.
entertain that,
Deal
I-
with it right
Right,
then? Yeah,
right.
Since I didn't know what you were really
Right.
talking about in terms of conditional admission. Okay,
right.
so 444Y is
Yes.
one of them.
So
Okay.
the state tenders a 444Y conditionally upon any redactions that we either agree on or the court simply instructs have to be made. 450Y, 451Y, just 452, 453, 454, and 456Y, as well as 460Y. And we have not tendered 463, which is the certified, which was used to refresh Mr. Wright's recollection. We're just adding that to the record because it was a document that had been referred to. So for conditional admission, we were tendering 454, 450. I'm sorry, 444Y, 450Y, 451Y, 452Y, 453Y, 454Y, 455Y, 456Y, and 460Y, to the extent that those reflect the emails from Mr. Wright to the state. So there
And
were,
then what about 463Y?
that was just the last.
Right, are you tendering that one?
No, I have
Okay.
it in my hand. I was about to hand it to Ms. Winfrey because it is a document that needs to go as part of the record, as something that was used to refresh the recollection. I had it, and while I had it, I just referred to it. It's not being tendered.
Okay,
It's just certified of Mr. Sledge's conviction.
okay, and tell me what you mean by conditionally admit. Do you mean potentially redacted in some way?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
All right. And are there objections to the admission of any of these in any form
All of them,
whatsoever?
all of them.
Okay. yeah.
Now, if the point is they were referenced in testimony and therefore for the purposes of the record, not to be
Well, I wouldn't consider that admitted.
right.
I
But
mean, I assume every exhibit that is utilized, whether tendered and admitted, tendered and excluded, or just used with a witness, is going to be a part of the record. Is that y'all's understanding as well?
yes,
Okay. So, in terms of admitting them,
so, okay. The emails,
yes,
450 was admitted. That was not.
yes, 450 was, you're right.
the emails, we had lengthy discussions about the emails and about the objections and about the problems with some of the things that were discussed in the objections. Ms. Love indicated that she wanted to talk about number 3, which seemed pertinent and wanted to get the wording exactly right. I had no problem with it. The other defense counsel didn't seem to have a problem with it. So we read exactly what the wording is. There's no need to admit that. And there's still problems with the other email, the other factual acknowledgments that are discussed in that email regarding the prior versions of the agreement. I went through great lengths to preview what I was going to ask so as not to open up any doors for quote unquote statements that were never uttered or adopted by the witness to be admitted into evidence. The state is now asking the court to just admit documents into evidence that have those statements on it. Those statements provide nothing to the jurors. I don't know what conditionally means. I'm never going to agree to admitting things subject to redactions when I don't know what those redactions are. And it's completely unnecessary. We have read from the documents to get the words correct regarding specific things from those documents, specific acknowledgments from those documents, and both sides have done that. And that's what the testimony is. The proposed documentary evidence is full of inadmissible hearsay and other things, and also provides nothing to the jury at this point. So on behalf of Mr. Stillwell, I should say, oppose the admission of any of those documents into evidence at this time.
On behalf of Mr. Williams, I'm going to join in Mr. Shaw's response. We've already objected to the admission of any of those documents. And we would, I also do not know what a conditional admission of evidence is.
Well,
So
I
I'd
guess-
oppose.
Right, so I guess she means she wants to, if possible, be able to come to agreement about redactions of them, and if not, then present them to the court with her proposed redactions, which, I mean, maybe y'all can get together, and since we have a non-jury day tomorrow, we can deal with that tomorrow, but I don't mean y'all figure out what the potential redactions are tomorrow. I mean, have something ready to present.
Yes, and so, Your
Tomorrow.
Honor, in as much as the tendering was done today, I'll withdraw that request until I have a redacted version to show counsel for defendants into the court.
Okay.
And the conditional, the court had it exactly right. It was until there was either an agreement or something that the
Or
court
then you
deemed.
can present it to me and I'll make a decision.
Yes,
Okay. All right, well then have those ready first thing in the morning.
we will, along with the other additional emails that the court told me to have.
Right, for me, for an in-camera inspection. And then I would like for us tomorrow, I know that a couple of people have forwarded some things for our task list for tomorrow. There's a motion in limine filed by Mr. Ryan about autopsy photos. There is a motion in limine by Mr. Williams that provides some law and argument on an issue that we had raised our last non-jury week, but not decided about. I can't remember whose statements they were, but some of the wiretap statements we had kind of gotten partway through and gotten, I think it's fair to say, probably bogged down on one particular call and whether there's hearsay within hearsay and whether it qualifies under 801 D2E. So we'll circle back on that issue and maybe make our way a little bit more through that. And then I would like for us to at least start on what's everybody's understanding of which exhibits have been admitted and which haven't, kind of what the status is of the exhibits so far. I covering everything that anybody's forwarded. Is there anything else? There might be.
I haven't yet seen, but I know that they probably are in my inbox. So we'll, since we should be, I guess, ready to respond to the motions in limine, if they're new.
Well, the one of them, I think is new about the autopsy photos. The other one's kind of just a follow up on some of them. Yes, sir.
And we filed a brief on that yesterday, I believe. So I just want to make
Maybe
sure that
that's what
you,
I'm thinking of. Is the Williams motion limine separate than the Mr. Nichols brief
Yes.
on that?
Yes.
Two separate issues
yes,
or the same issue?
I did not repeat what the Honorable Mr.
But
Nichols
it's in the
lawyers.
same topic?
Yes,
Okay,
I just added
All right.
other law.
all right. All right. And honestly, that'll probably carry us through the day. We probably won't even get through all of it. Any other topics or items we need to be thinking about?
Could the court just inquire who's the next several witnesses? It got kind of,
Sure.
I know it's a witness issue, I was told.
Yeah, so Thursday and Friday, who do y'all anticipate your witnesses being?
Second, let me get their list. Officer Adrian Pitts. Miss Sharon Latners. Potentially crime scene tech Turner, Miss Denise Bell, Officer Sean Hill.
Turner Bell and who?
Hill,
Hill?
Officer Sean Hill.
Okay. All right.
Crime scene tech Jenkins, Detective Thorpe.
Okay, that, we won't get through all of those in 2 days, so that'll give y'all the list of the next several. All right.
And the one main one, if we, the one that has.
It's just the gremlins that are apparently in residence here in Muncie. That one doesn't seem to be working at all. We may need to put new batteries in some of these.
If another witness that we have on our list is available, that we had mentioned last week, that we had approached the bench about regarding a condition that they had, a lay witness.
I can't remember. Do they know who you're talking about? I can't remember. Do y'all know who we're?
Your Honor,
talking
I'm
about
going to
here?
withdraw that. We'll leave it at where we have it right now.
Okay.
I'll speak to anybody who asks about
Okay.
that, but we're
Mr.
good.
Weinstein, you seem to want to say something.
Normally it's that I have to use the restroom, but actually it's on a different subject
All
matter.
right.
Just briefly, I'm not going to be here, Your Honor, tomorrow, Ms. Singer-Tiaz,
Okay.
but I guess I'm going to go back to the old saw that I keep bringing up, Your Honor. And just briefly, just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute. I'm going to renew my motion for the court to limit the state's time. I'm going to cite your authority under 24-4-403, 24-6-611. And I'm just going to ask you, please read, if you haven't already, US v. Reeves.
I've read it.
I think it's very persuasive on your ability and the logic and reasoning behind putting a time limit on the state. We just got through with a witness, Your Honor, that the state said was going to take 3 hours. And we spent, now that was just 3 hours on direct. And we just spent a week on that witness, Your Honor.
Well,
So
we
I would-
had 2 witnesses this week.
5 days. And then, yes, Your Honor, I'm not going to disagree
Well,
with you.
wait, no, this is only, what
When
is
it
today?
was-
This is only
It was
Tuesday.
Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, but whatever. It was far, far longer than 3 hours. So please look at Reeves again and consider it, Your Honor.
So I am reticent to say, for this witness, you can only have X amount of time.
I'm asking for.
However, okay, we've got how many count indictment here? With at least 8, in addition to the RICO count, 8 different sets of crimes. And the case law also provides that the state is entitled to, and it is, a violation to prevent them from being able to present their case. And I know that's not what you're asking, but how am I to know how long it is going to take them to efficiently present the amount of evidence to cover all of the things that are in this indictment? That being said, I will say that not so much, honestly, even the amount of time that was taken up with Mr. Sledge, because I assume the 3-hour estimate was thinking Mr. Sledge was going to be a cooperative witness, and Mr. Sledge didn't ultimately end up being so much of a cooperative witness. But y'all, I mean, the amount of time that was taken up by everybody with Mr. Wright was probably a bit excessive. And I put everybody who asked questions almost in that category. I do think that the state needs to, I don't know, get more targeted and focused with the examinations. And then there seems to be redirects take almost as long as the directs, and that should not usually be the case. And nobody ought to be rehashing things that have already been established, either at, I mean, a little bit of leeway every once in a while to, okay, let me refamiliarize you to this as I lead into what I want to get to. But like a 5-question, you know, there's this, there's that, there's the other that everybody's already heard, and I'm addressing this to everybody who might need to hear it. That we don't need. And we just don't need to be rehashing everything. And we also need to think redirect is supposed to only cover things that are in cross, and recross is only supposed to cover things that were in redirect. So please get more focused, and to the extent that people make the 403 waste of time objection, I'm going to take it seriously.
Well, you know, I think Reeves addresses, I guess, a lot of that and the need for us to raise 403 by eliminating that and eliminating the courts, or reducing, according to the judge in that case, you know, eliminating the need for the court to spend a lot of time on 403s, because it forces the state to be more efficient in their presentation of the case. And to say that the state is moving with any degree of efficiency or I just don't know what to say about the plotting rate that the state plows through the direct examination. And I don't see anything. I mean, we're 100 witnesses in, we got 100 witnesses to go. I know that's a rough number.
I'm hoping we don't actually have 100 witnesses to
Well,
go.
that seems
I
to be
really
a
would like
bottom.
that to be narrowed down. But I don't think we've gotten to the point yet where we can turn to that topic. But I mean, I've said a couple of times that the state needs to take a very close and careful look at the witness list that still exists and do everything you can to make sure that we're not being cumulative with our witnesses. And I hear you saying maybe we should be doing the same thing about a time limit. And y'all, I mean, you know, I mean, I know it's not a trial, but incredibly important issues get decided in appellate courts all the time. You get, you know, 20 minutes to talk about something that could be groundbreakingly different. So, you know, I'm not saying that at some point I might not just say, all right, you've got 5 hours for this witness's direct and you can do it in that amount of time. I'll need to know more about what you need to cover with that witness, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. I do think that given how long Mr. Copen was on the stand, that we've made real progress in that we've now been able to finish 2 witnesses in far less time than that. But yeah, I hope 3 witnesses in far less time than that. So I feel like it is progress, but we could probably get more targeted than we are.
Okay.
So
I can,
Thank-
in as much as this, I'm probably the most verbose of us all, but I can make my questions tighter.
okay.
The intent on redirect has always been to respond to things that I hear brought up on cross, and to the extent that I can be more precise in pointing out the specific question that was raised on cross that I'm trying now to have the witness explain further or give an explanation for, I will do that as well.
All right, and I do not want to call anybody out in front of the jury. I also don't want to excuse the jury constantly. That takes a lot of time just for them to even file in there and file back. So, you know, I'm telling y'all this now in the strong hope that what you're saying you're going to do, you're actually going to do. But if I see that it still is as, I don't know the right words, but depending upon what I see, I may have to deal with it further.
Okay, thank you.
All
Honor.
right.
And I wouldn't keep raising this if my client wasn't stuck at Rice Street. So that's the reason I bring this up every once in a
Well,
while.
I mean, I think it's fair to bring up
Thank you.
regardless.
Thank you, Honor.
So-
I appreciate you hearing me
Okay.
out.
And Your Honor, I also, just for the record, and so that the victims that are named in our cases are aware, we are appreciative of the courts affording the state the opportunity to effectively present to the jury all the evidence that we have in this case without being cumulative and without being redundant, but our victims obviously deserve every bit of attention that we have to offer to this. And I appreciate the court's willingness to afford that to the state.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else, then let's convene at 9 tomorrow.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Oh, I didn't even realize my mic wasn't mute. Child, I'm so thrown from that stream. Goodness. Since they're not gonna have jury tomorrow, we will probably start about 10:30. Yeah, about 10:30 tomorrow, since they're not gonna have jury. It shouldn't be a long lunch break. I am so sorry for that mishap. I don't even know what happened. But it was a good day. It was a good day in terms of that defense. The defense showdown against the state. A lot got flushed out with Sledge's attorney on the stand. And I was really kind of tanking, with the Infinity guy. I was kind of tanking out with him. I get the point of that, but the meat of it was all of this stuff that came out about that plea deal. That attorney pretty much kind of summed up what Sledge's frustration was. And I still have my eye on the state. Sounds like they're going to do that in-camera inspection tomorrow too, which I'm sure there won't be anything to find there. She should have cleaned up what she could, I guess. It was a good point. It's always nice to show respect to the victims. Absolutely. She was sort of snarking back because exactly. And it was good that she did that because you think about these guys over there in Rice Street and what's happening to them. So it was good that she kind of brought that back. I had to give her a point on that because I was definitely empathizing with what's happening over there with the defense, and I had lost sight of why we're here, but they need to clean it up and move it on along, for sure. So I'll be back tomorrow. We'll start about 10:30, and I'm gonna put in a ticket to see what happened with that stream. That was just the weirdest thing. Anywho, I appreciate you joining me and coming back. I felt like I needed to because I really wanted to kind of make sure that we have the entire day because there's going to be a lot to come from this. So I didn't want to miss anything. Yeah. So what's tomorrow? Wednesday? Okay, we'll be back Wednesday. The debate is going on tonight, and I need to try and do a review on Basketball Wives. I'm behind. Let's see. I don't think it was. The gremlins were active. Thank you for that. Because you can kind of hear the sound glitching and stuff in the courtroom. It was a lot going on. Woo, child. That hurt my little feelings though. That just goes to me being the perfectionist. Like I have to, so it's all good. I have to let that go. But that was funny. It was funny when she said it. And I'm like, man, it had to be them because them jokers, they definitely got me all messed up. Hopefully the gremlins will be napping tomorrow, catching up on their sleep and all of that. And we have an uneventful day. I appreciate you coming back. Definitely appreciate you hanging out with me. And we'll be back tomorrow about 10:30. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Amy. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.